ourselves in various predicaments throughout our life. And you can look at somebody, and even if you take issue with their choices and what they've done, you can still sit up there and look at them.
White people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them. You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it?
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men.
If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke out of you when I see
Busby and this young woman got audio, video, and text messages. If you know all of those things are out there, you should shut the F up. I'm not here to speak to Shannon's guilt or innocence because I don't know, but I do know attempting to settle looks like an admission of guilt because I'm not settling.
Race play, Shannon Sharpe. Race play? I didn't even want to talk about this, but the more videos I scroll past talking about Shannon Sharpe and this relationship that he had with this 19-year-old, and it's not just her with the race fetish. He obviously was turned on by these conversations as well, and he only released what she was saying.
From the heart, this is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right.
This story's got more twists than a courtroom drama, and Shannon Sharpe's silence might be louder than anything he's ever said. What started as a media frenzy over a lawsuit has now turned into a full-blown fallout with his on-air partner and once close ally, Stephen A. Smith. We're talking ghosted calls, public betrayals, viral backlash, and a mountain of allegations that have fans wondering, is this the end of Shannon Sharpe's career? Or worse, was the image he built all these years just a well-polished facade? Let's rewind the tape. The moment news broke about Shannon's legal issues involving a 19-year-old model, Stephen A. wasted no time jumping into the headlines. He didn't wait for facts, statements, or court dates. Just boom, shade thrown. In a series of cryptic yet cutting remarks, Stephen A. practically spoke about Shannon in the past tense, like the man was already canceled before the situation even had a chance to unfold.
Because at that point she said that they were in a they were in an actual relationship. They were in Vegas together. So when that happened, she had already kind of been, in this thing where he's verbally abusive, allegedly, but she thought that they were together. Now, this woman is alleging that Shannon Sharpe her multiple times over the course of a 2-year relationship. The relationship that they had was
old town and go find somebody your age and build a family with them. As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need discipline.
Fans instantly clocked it. They weren't just questioning the timing. They were questioning the loyalty. Why was Stephen A. so quick to distance himself from a man he personally recruited to ESPN? But just days later, Stephen A. pulled a complete 180. Suddenly, he was on air claiming he believed Shannon was innocent. "I support my brother," he said, trying to smooth over the friction. But viewers weren't buying the flip-flop, and neither, according to insiders, was Shannon. In fact, the fallout behind the scenes was immediate and icy. Shannon reportedly stopped responding to Stephen's calls and texts entirely. No messages, no explanations, just stone-cold silence. And for someone as direct as Shannon, that silence spoke volumes. While ESPN stayed quiet, CBS, where Shannon also has connections, reportedly made it clear that they wouldn't be dragging his name or backing away from their support.
Out there releasing pages and pages of text messages, they're out there releasing audio. It looks to me like both sides are engaged in trying to litigate this in the media before litigating it in a court of law.
I know one thing, if you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now, Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday.
That contrast raised eyebrows. Then rapper Mace jumped into the mix, calling out Stephen A. as a snake for switching sides the moment things got hot. On his podcast, Mace pointed out the hypocrisy. When Jay-Z faced accusations, Stephen A. went to war defending him. But when Shannon needed someone in his corner, crickets. That double standard didn't sit right with fans, and it fueled the narrative that maybe Stephen A. wasn't the loyal friend he claimed to be. But the question still lingered, why would Stephen A. turn so fast? Well, sources say this tension didn't come out of nowhere. Word is, Shannon had been feeling the heat from Stephen A. for a while, especially after Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, exploded in popularity. Let's not forget, his interview with Cat Williams broke the internet. It was everywhere, and as Shannon's brand soared outside the ESPN machine, insiders say Stephen A.'s energy began to shift. Some say he felt threatened. Others say he resented the spotlight shifting. Whatever it was, once the lawsuit hit, Stephen A. didn't hesitate to put distance between them, and Shannon noticed. Now here's where things get dark. The initial lawsuit involving the 19-year-old model, Gabriela Zinga, already had fans divided. But then, another woman stepped into the spotlight, Michelle Evans, Shannon's ex-girlfriend. And what she revealed wasn't just shocking, it was damning. Evans filed a new lawsuit accusing Shannon of sexual misconduct, saying the incident happened all the way back in 2010. According to her, after confronting him about cheating, things turned violent. She claims Shannon threatened her and forced her into unwanted acts, saying she felt terrified, powerless, and afraid of what might happen if she resisted. Even worse, Evans says this wasn't a one-time situation. She filed for a restraining order shortly after the incident, claiming Shannon harassed her with phone calls, surveillance, and threats that he was watching her at that very moment. She feared for her life. And get this.
Lanny J. Davis released a statement characterizing the civil suit as, quote, a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars.
Right after her restraining order went public in 2010, Shannon suddenly stepped away from his CBS show. No explanation, no media storm, just silence. The whole thing got buried, and his career continued like nothing had happened. Now, Evans is back with a defamation lawsuit, saying Shannon dragged their history back into the public eye, painting her as a liar to silence her, and she's not backing down this time. What's more, Evans isn't standing alone. She's now publicly supporting Gabriela Zinga, the original accuser. Evans alleges Shannon doxed Zinga by sharing her real name and platform, framing her as dishonest and using his influence to discredit her. According to Evans, it was a calculated move to intimidate and silence. And for fans watching all this play out, the shift was undeniable. The support Shannon once had, it started evaporating. Comment sections that once hyped his takes were suddenly flooded with disappointment, anger, and betrayal. People started connecting the dots, asking if this wasn't just bad luck, but part of a disturbing pattern. Even inside the sports world, former allies are backing away. Ryan Clark, another former NFL star and analyst, hinted that Shannon's alleged behavior wasn't out of character. He referenced old clips and posts, suggesting the warning signs had always been there. Charleston White went even harder, saying there was no setup here. Shannon did this to himself by getting involved with someone decades younger and blurring every line of professionalism. The criticism was brutal and unfiltered, and just when the backlash couldn't get any louder, an old podcast clip resurfaced. One where Shannon exploded during a taping, yelling "shut the F up" to someone off camera. That outburst, it went viral, fast. Fans started asking, if this is how he acts on camera, what's happening when the lights are off? It didn't look good. It looked like the cracks in his polished image were finally starting to show. But what really has fans talking is what Shannon isn't doing. Talking. He hasn't said a word. No statements, no interviews, no social media posts. And for a man who built his career on commentary, on showing up, on speaking his truth, that silence is deafening. It's not just a PR move, it feels like hiding. And the longer it goes on, the more suspicious it starts to look. Because silence, in a storm like this, doesn't protect your brand, it buries it. Meanwhile, ESPN has said nothing. No statements of support, no interviews, not even a denial. Just complete radio silence. That alone has people wondering if they're waiting this out behind closed doors, or preparing to quietly cut ties. Either way, it looks bad, because at one point, Shannon was sports media royalty. Now, he's becoming a liability. Brands are pulling out. Sponsorships have quietly disappeared. Even his Nightcap podcast with Chad Johnson is taking hits. Views are down. Engagement is dipping. And now, fans are calling out Chad for staying silent, accusing him of enabling Shannon's behavior just to protect the show. Stephen A., of course, is still talking. He's been bouncing from platform to platform, trying to walk the line, saying he supports Shannon 1 minute, then calling out others for turning on him the next. But fans aren't falling for it. They're calling him the ultimate flip-flopper. Some even say he's enjoying the downfall, using it to keep his own name hot in the press. Because let's be honest, if Stephen A. really cared, wouldn't he have just stayed quiet? Instead, he posted a whole video about Shannon leaving ESPN before Shannon himself even confirmed it. That doesn't scream loyalty. That screams opportunity. One fan put it best, "Stephen's the guy who tells your boss you were late, just to take your spot." And maybe they're right, because whether intentional or not, Stephen A. has kept Shannon's name in the headlines. Only it's not for the reasons Shannon would want. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Shannon Sharpe? Can he recover from this media firestorm? Or has the silence already sealed his fate? And what about Stephen A.? Is he really trying to help, or just using the chaos to boost himself? Was Mace right all along when he called him a fake friend with double standards?